Hey guys, this is Aegis, and I am finally back. The computer is now working again. So I have here a game between Birdkicker, and his opponent is going to be NerZhuL, spawning as the blue Terran player. It's going to be red versus blue here. This was a ladder game. This was submitted to me by Birdkicker. So we'll see if he's able to win this game. I am aware that this is quite a long game. Birdkicker is going to be playing as the red Zerg player. And this is Tal'Darim Altar. Of course, the ladder version has the rocks over here, as well as the double gas at the third base. So Birdkicker will have to knock those rocks down if he wants to take a fast third. So this will force him to make a couple of units in the beginning to be able to knock those down, even if he decides to drone really hard. And there's that drone headed out to the natural expansion. Actually, that's a drone scout going to be scouting across the map right now, and soon we will have a drone headed to the natural expansion or headed over here to make a spawning pool. We'll see which one it is. NerZhuL is making his supply depot wall at the front. He should be throwing down his barracks real soon. There it is coming up. Of course, in this position, you do have a position to throw down the tech lab or reactor, no matter where you place that barracks, unless you put it up at the front, which NerZhuL has not decided to do, and is getting a refinery right now. So he may be going for that tech lab. We'll see what he decides to do in just a second. We have the natural expansion coming up for Birdkicker. Both of these players did play in the American Pro League Season 1, so both teams have been since knocked out. Both of these players' teams have been knocked out, but we still do have the grand finals coming up real soon, so be sure to check that out. We have our website, mochtechcorp.net/APL. The grand finals will be Energy versus Infinity 7, so two very strong teams. Both have sent players to MLG before. MLG, which just finished very exciting games there. They call it Blue Flame Hellion MLG. So go ahead and check that out if you are interested. Birdkicker getting a spawning pool is about halfway complete, and the extractor going to be going for some gas for that Zergling speed to help him control the map. Factory is on the way for NerZhuL, and also the American Pro League Season 1 3rd, 4th place matches on the way. It will be XPN versus Chaos Theory. Go ahead and check out our website for that one as well. I'll have links for you in the comments below. Birdkicker over here chasing an SCV around his base. SCV is getting a good look at everything. Metabolic boost will soon be on the way as soon as enough gas is gathered, and we do have two Marines up at the front. Factory is almost finished. The reactor is also finishing up, so we may be seeing some reactor Hellions out real soon. It is leading into this expansion. This command center is coming up. We should see a lift on that factory in just a second to switch over to that reactor. I don't want to spoil too much of MLG for you guys, but a lot of Hellions in that. And we do have the destructible rocks getting spotted by an overlord. A couple of Zerglings headed out across the map. Two Hellions on the way from that reactor. Factory is coming up right now. The command center is about halfway complete. Two Marines at the front going to be guarding that area, and a tech lab is on the way. So maybe he's going for those blue flame Hellions. We'll see if he is going for that. Of course, this was played before MLG, so once that tech lab gets onto a factory, we'll see if this was after or before the patch 1.3.5, where the Blue Flame upgrade. Maybe that's why there is so many Blue Flame Hellions at MLG. It was all lit up, and everyone got excited seeing that icon and decided to click on it, and it worked out very well. The Hellions coming over here, going to be trying to roast away that Zergling. Down the Zergling goes. Map control is gained by these Hellions just for a brief time. A couple of roaches are on the way for Birdkicker. His roach warren is complete. No lair as of yet. He is grabbing additional gas right now. The extractor at the main is getting picked up, but the two extractors over here still not quite yet, so he may not be going for those Mutalisks anytime soon. We are at the 6-minute and 30-second mark. So some players do get a very fast lair at this point, but Birdkicker is not opting to do that as of this moment. 4 Hellions over there getting chased out. Another gas on the way for NerZhuL, and another barracks in the backside. Barracks coming up on this reactor factory, moving back and grabbing a tech lab, possibly going for that siege, those siege tanks and the siege mode tech real soon. The Hellions coming over here. The Roach is unable to range those Hellions off of the creep. Will he decide to run in? No, he does not. Roach takes a little bit of damage, and as Zergling tries to run by, it will get into... Oh, a nice lift over there by NerZhuL. Gonna block that Zergling from seeing any more, but I think the Zergling did see the orbital command floating out. A couple of SCVs transferring right now. The siege tech is on the way, so no blue flame Hellions in this game yet. We'll see if NerZhuL decides to go for that later on and trying to do some economic damage. Roach is not yet picking off this third base. I feel like Birdkicker has plenty of time to do that, especially now he's getting his Spire up. He does have map control. He will see when the Terran player decides to move out. If he picks up this Xel'Naga tower as well. A little Hellion Zergling race going around on the map right now. Roach is going to be trying to pick off those Hellions. Zergling is advancing forward as well. A supply depot wall getting erected by NerZhuL, going to be closing off this area as much as possible. Going to make sure that those Zerglings do not run by. The siege tank does get outside on the other side of that wall. Siege tech is finished, and the starport is on the way. Going to be switching over to the reactor, I think, so that he can get some additional medevacs out onto the field, or some first medevacs out onto the field. And we do have the Zerglings now picking apart those rocks. The creep has spread over there, and creep is spreading out across the map as well. So Birdkicker gearing up for the late game. NerZhuL moving his army to take these third rocks. Note looks like he's going to take a rest over there. A bunker is on the way for NerZhuL, and he is headed over there, going to be picking off those rocks. NerZhuL is actually ahead in terms of supply. Let's take a look at the units tab. 47 drones to the 41 SCVs, so pretty even on that economic tab right now. 9 mutas on the way for Birdkicker. Those Hellions will be forced off of the map as soon as those mutas come out. I think Hellions are just slightly faster than mutas, but those Hellions will have to deal with terrain while the mutas do not, so we'll see if those mutas are able to chase down those Hellions. NerZhuL is moving out across the map with his army right now. 3 siege tanks, Marines with stim, 1 medevac. The +1 attack for the infantry is not quite done yet. The mutas now chasing after those Hellions, and it looks like NerZhuL has decided to pull back his entire army. Is going to be running away right now. The mutas now chasing up. We'll see if they're able to pick off any siege tanks. That would be huge. And we have missile turrets up already for NerZhuL. Those mutas will be relegated to harassing the gas on either side. And we do have the mutas advancing into the main. We'll see if they're able to pick off any of these add-ons. Looks like that missile turret will be finished, unable to pick off that SCV in time. Going to pick off a Hellion here or there, and forcing NerZhuL to move his army left and right, or actually north and south, as he is in that position. We have the mutas now coming back into the main. Siege tanks now sieging up. NerZhuL forced into a defensive position. He should be looking to grab that expansion real soon. He does have the command center now finishing up. Our Zerg player spreading the creep out across the map. Going to be grouping up all the way across, and the drones now transferring over to that third expansion. More mutas out on the field, and the mutas coming in here trying to pick off a tank or two. Unable to do it. That tank will be able to get repaired in just a second. More medevacs on the way. No switch over. It looks like a tech lab and a reactor on the way for NerZhuL, trying to pick up additional marine producing capacity to be able to deal with that muta count, which is increasing steadily. Centrifugal hooks on the way for our Zerg player, and the Zerglings spawning out 16 at a time. Infestation pit on the way as well. NerZhuL continuing to make those SCVs. He still has not floated the orbital command out to the third base yet, possibly feeling a little bit unsafe in taking that base. Birdkicker now at 144 food to the 122 of NerZhuL, but of course the Terran army is much more efficient with the medevacs as well as the siege tanks. Birdkicker backing up with his mutas, going to be taking a position over here. He can easily take additional bases right now. He is banking 800 minerals right now. More Zerglings on the way. A hive is coming up. Pathogen glands. Zerg melee attacks level 1. The muta is going to continue to dance back and forth over here, regenerating some health as of this moment. A couple of overlords chilling in this corner. The map is completely covered in overlords. A couple of overlords making their way over here as well. Mutas flying in here. Looks like the Marines will be able to chase those out. The +1 vehicle weapons is on the way. Infantry armor level 1 as well. The +2 weapons for the infantry also on the way. Additional gas coming up at that third base. A ton of missile turrets as well as the Marines in position. Hellions out on the field as well. Sea Shanks and Mules falling down from the sky. And the Overlords taking positions over here to make sure no drops happen. And the Muta's going to continue moving across the map. And we have a 4th base coming up from Birdkicker. Is about halfway complete. 3 Infestors coming out. Thor's on the way for our Terran player. More SCVs getting produced for that 3rd base. And not quite spending all of the mules on this command center over here. And both players just kind of sitting back for the moment. Thor's on the field right now. Will be able to deal with those large packs of Mutas. Muta's chilling over here, going to be headed to that 3rd base. It is quite well defended with the Marines and the missile turrets in place. Missile turret will begin to work on those Mutas. The first missile turret quickly goes down. The Mutas do have their, no, looks like they do not have the +1. The Marines trying to get into position, but it's just not enough Marines to deal with that. Looks like Birdkicker will back up, not going to try to lose any of his Mutas at all. Corruptors on the way right now, and a Greater Spire, so NerZhuL is going to be forced to make some Vikings in the near future. He needs to get a reactor starport ASAP to be able to get that Viking production to be able to take care of those Broodlords. Another expansion coming up for Birdkicker. This will be his 5th base. Infestors out on the field. Looks like Birdkicker has a pretty strong grip on this game right now. He needs to start trading armies with the Terran player real soon to be able to stay in this. He doesn't want to bank too many resources and then be unable to deal with the Terran push when it comes out, which it is coming right now. Looks like NerZhuL is moving out across the map. He's putting the hope on those Thors. Going to be using those to deal with the large muta count in the air, as well as the Marines. He needs to micro against those Zerglings and the Banelings now. Actually, no Banelings out on the field right now. It looks like Broodlords on the way. And still no Vikings, so this army is very, very vulnerable to the composition of Birdkicker as of this moment. Spinecrawlers on the way for Birdkicker. Looks like this expansion will be under siege from the high ground over here. NerZhuL taking a pretty good position here. Zerg army will have to run all the way around to be able to fight this army. Looks like Birdkicker may be going for the counter. He's headed straight for NerZhuL's base instead of trying to defend this expansion. He has another expansion at the top, so it does not matter. He can easily secure these bases, and it looks like the counter is headed in. NerZhuL not quite lifting his supply depots. He's got his Sea Shanks now sieged up, and the Broodlords are coming across the map right now. They are very slow units. The Infestors coming up as well. And NerZhuL is dropping the Marines on the low ground over here. He needs to pull his army back to deal with this. The Broodlords now ranging the natural expansion over here. The Sea Shanks doing more damage than the Broodlords actually are. The Broodlings now coming in here. And it looks like the additional starports are on the way for NerZhuL. The Mobius reactor on the way for the Ghosts to be able to EMP the Infestors. Looks like a Birdkicker is going to be pushing in here. The Zerglings making their way up. They can actually easily take care of this expansion. I'm not sure what he's waiting for. More Zerglings reinforcing right now, going to be charging this position. Zerglings all running by. The SCVs getting pulled off the line to be able to fight. Looks like the Sea Shanks unable to deal with this. The Mutas are running in here as well, going to be taking care of this very easily. Looks like we have a base race situation here. NerZhuL now pushing forth with his entire army. Going to be dealing with a couple of those Corruptors with the Thors. And Birdkicker falling under supply right now. He's going to be using the remainder of this army trying to destroy the Terran main. Terran still has his base over here. Going to be pulling his SCVs off the line as well. Going to be using those to repair the Thors if they get damaged. Thors, Marines, and tanks advancing on Birdkicker's main over here. Both players losing it down to 140 some supply. NerZhuL falling to 132. NerZhuL has the luxury of lifting his buildings and running away, which he has not quite done yet. He's got his Sea Shanks in the main, a couple of Marines as well. Going to be trying to defend this position as long as possible. Sea Shanks going to be blasting down quite a few of those Zerglings before they go down. Marines blocking the way as well. NerZhuL now moving into the Zerg main, going to be taking down the Hive and all of the structures over here. Birdkicker losing his Baneling's Nest. The Greater Spires under siege as well. Looks like we have a command center trying to float away. A couple of Mutalisks will be able to deal with that quite easily. This hatchery is going to get spotted. That command center needs to land. Well, actually, even if it lands, the Mutas can continue to siege that one. A couple of Mutas doing nothing over here. The Broodlords continuing to advance on the main of NerZhuL. NerZhuL needs to use those Vikings to his advantage. Going to be taking care of those Broodlords quite easily. A couple of Marines in the back as well. The Infester's not too sure what to do, throwing down some fungal growths. Going to be cleaning up those Vikings. Looks like the Mutas finally responding, going to be getting in here. Looks like we have a command center under construction over here inside the Zerg main. He doesn't know about that command center. Looks like Birdkicker over here will be completely devoid of defenses except for those spine crawlers. NerZhuL needs to siege up, and he will easily take care of those spine crawlers without losing too much. And this base is quickly going down. Birdkicker remaking everything in this corner. He has a spire. He does have a queen over here. He has also got his new spawning pool. He's remade 3 new bases. And Birdkicker over here hollowing out the Terran main. A new Terran main is being constructed in this corner. A couple of units hanging out over here in the bottom corner. Both players down to 100 food. We'll see who is able to take this game. NerZhuL still not quite ready to float his bases away. He's got his army now advancing across the map again. We'll see if he's able to deal with this Muta count as well as the Broodlords. The Broodlords will be his main problem. A bunch of drones also hanging out over here. Looks like the Terran army is pulling back to try to deal with the Zerg army over here. A scan going down, seeing exactly what our Zerg player is up to. And looks like this expansion is continuing to be under siege. More Mutas out on the field. And if those Mutas get taken out, Birdkicker will be in huge trouble. And of course, Mutas not very good against Marines and Thors. A couple of Thors getting caught in the backside. NerZhuL needs to respond with the Marines going to be running over here. All of the Thors getting taken down very quickly, but the Thors doing massive damage to the Mutas as well. The Medivacs with full energy will be able to heal up those Marines very easily. The Broodlords getting into position. The Marines can stim and easily get under the Broodlords to take care of them. Sea Shanks now sieging up. They're going to do a lot of damage to those Marines if he sieges those Sea Shanks up. Looks like the Sea Shanks are to deal with those fungal growths that may come from those infestors. And it looks like the Broodlord's going to continue to rain fire down upon those Sea Shanks, and the fungal growths not going down, cleaning them up. The Mutas coming forth, stim going down on all the Marines. It looks like the Marines will be able to take care of those Broodlords as they are parked right under the Broodlords. The Sea Shanks also in position to do not much. NerZhuL over here gonna back up actually. He is floating his command center right above his army. He still has his main sort of. So it looks like our Zerg player is going to be losing this expansion. The command center also keeping watch over here. A couple more Marines. And this expansion over here will be going down. The Mutas pulling back to take care of that. Looks like both players have sort of stabilized. Birdkicker taking the Terran natural expansion over here. More Zerglings spawning out across the map right now. And the Medivacs have lifted a good number of units into the Zerg, the new Zerg main. Going to be taking care of this very easily. Sea Shank sieging up, and the Zerglings and the Mutas taking care of that expansion very easily. And Birdkicker needs to come over here and defend his main. NerZhuL taking that down, and his command center over here is going to continue to hover over the Terran army. Looks like the natural expansion for Birdkicker is going down as well. His new natural over here is very poorly defended. NerZhuL needs to secure a new source of income to be able to make anything out of those production facilities. The last drone going down over there as well. So it looks like Birdkicker is going to lose his natural expansion over here in just a second. The Mutas over here coming to clean up the Terran main. And looks like it's going to come down to this one final Terran push with the command center flying ahead to see if they can take out this base over here, or even just take out these last few Zerg units. There's not that much for Birdkicker. It's 54 food for NerZhuL and 55 food for Birdkicker. The only thing up for Birdkicker is that single Broodlord, which he needs to keep alive. A couple of Overlords getting picked off over here, and one Extractor hanging out over here as well. A couple of Overlords spreading out over here. There's not that much left for Birdkicker. There's still an Extractor over here. NerZhuL might regret not dealing with that later on. And we are at the 28-minute mark. We'll see who is able to take this game. Birdkicker still is not under supply, so NerZhuL needs to remake a ton of supply depots if he wants to get back into this by playing straight up. There's that refinery going down. I think it would be a better choice, yeah, to just go for it. Find the Zerg main and try to clean it up with the command center floating overhead. Birdkicker needs to catch that command center out of position. Usually it's hard to catch a command center out of position because they are usually on the ground, but it looks like Birdkicker will be trying to get additional mining here. He can't really, well, he can make a drone and try to mine up from there. Looks like NerZhuL is sieging up over here. Don't know if I like that position. He needs to land his orbital command, do some scanning, and see if he can find the Zerg base. The Muta's trying to find out where that command center is. Overlord's also scooting to the edges, trying to figure out where everything is. There's a single Marine stimming and running around everywhere, trying to figure out where everything is. He's queued up to check all of these expansions, but little does he know this. It's over here. It's right here. And the Sea Shanks and the Marines staying put in the center. Let's take a look at the APM. Looks like our Zerg player is maintaining 140 some. The Muta's headed into this corner over here, continuing to check for that command center. If they catch that command center out of position, it's going to be disastrous for our Terran player, as that's his only building left on the map. If that gets taken out, he will lose the game, even if he has an army left. We have the Mutas now coming forth. They will be catching the orbital command out of position. The Marines need to stim up ASAP to take care of that Muta count. Looks like the Mutas are trying to focus that command center down. The Marines trying to advance forward to take care of those Mutas. And NerZhuL needs to just park his Marines under that command center. The command center is burning. He needs to land it and throw down a mule to repair it with whatever he's got left. That orbital command is going to be going down real soon. Drop a mule, 2 mules, a bunch of mules going down. Going to be trying to repair that up as quickly as possible, but he doesn't have that many minerals. Looks like the repair does go down. The Muta's coming forth, stim forth with the Marines trying to chase after those Mutas. And it looks like, damn it, says Birdkicker, give me the win. The Muta's trying to dance around over here, going to be possibly picking off a couple of Sea Shanks, but that doesn't do much as there's nothing the Sea Shanks can shoot at. I don't want stale. He can make a drone and begin mining, little does he know. Perhaps he doesn't realize he has 70 minerals in the bank. Looks like the Marines actually taking a shot at that command center. And NerZhuL just needs to go for it. He needs to just clean up this over here and clean up this thing over here, and he will be able to take it. It's so close. This command center is burning down. Birdkicker might win from a burning down command center. Those mules need to go mine some minerals to be able to get that command center up to full health. Looks like the mules have gone down, and NerZhuL over here advancing with the last few of his Marines. The Muta's coming, shot my own CC accidentally. GG out of NerZhuL, and this game goes to Birdkicker. Going down to the wire, 38 food. If NerZhuL hadn't shot his own command center, he had an okay-ish chance of winning this, as he had the larger army. But if you do like what you see here, please do subscribe. This is Aegis signing off.